Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe below and hit that little alert button, so when I create a new video, you will be alerted. So today I want to talk about sales, right? After you complete that marketing aspect, and if you have a high-end sale, you're going to want to convert them over the phone or in person, depending on what type of business you have. I see a lot of people trying to convert on like a landing page when they're also trying to sell something that's like 5,000 plus. It's possible. However, a lot of times when it's a large purchase, your prospects are going to want to talk through it, ask questions, learn a little bit more about why they should be doing this and why they should be spending that money on it. So you're going to want to probably jump on a call or do it in person to help them understand as to what you're offering, why you can help them, that sort of thing. So I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about spin selling. Now, this is not something I created. I'm taking it from my dear friend, Neil Rackman, who created spin selling. And basically, it is a methodology or a structure that you should walk through on your sales calls. I learned this way back in the day when I actually majored in sales in college. And honestly, to this day, I still use this method, and I think it's absolutely amazing. So let's get started. SPIN is an acronym, so it stands for something. The S in SPIN stands for situation. The P in SPIN stands for problem. The I in SPIN stands for implication, and the N stands for needs payoff. So you want to walk through that structure when you're on a sales call. So as you know, if you've watched any of my other sales videos, you should know that when you jump on a sales call with a prospect, it's all about the prospect, not about you as a salesperson and your product. You want to be learning everything you possibly can about the prospect, right? You want to be asking a ton of questions. You want to go into it acting like you know absolutely nothing about this person, and you want to learn everything about them. So going back to SPIN, using and starting with S in SPIN, which is situation, you want to start asking them situation-based questions. These are truly about their situation, their current situation that they're in. So let's say, for example, I am selling this LaCroix to a grocery store, for example. Well, I'm going to be asking the grocery store about their current situation. Do they already have a sparkling water product? That is a situation-based question. Do they have any shelf space available currently? What type of drinks are consumers typically buying in their store, right? These are situational based questions, truly things that I would want to know if I was selling a LaCroix to them, right? These are actual situation based questions. The P in SPIN stands for problem. Okay, so this is when you want to start digging through their problems. Why are they even speaking to you in the first place? They probably have a problem, right? Well, that is why people join sales calls. It's because they usually have a problem that they want fixed. So when you move on, when you've asked all of your situation questions and you want to start digging into the problems, this is a type of a sample question that you could ask in this scenario. You could say, are you having people come into the store looking for LaCroix? If they don't already sell LaCroix, he's probably going to say yes, right? Because LaCroix is so popular. I buy it every time I go to the grocery store, right? So he's going to say, yeah, oh crap. Like he's thinking that this is a problem. I don't have LaCroix and people are looking for LaCroix. Another problem question could be, is your current sparkling water on a shelf that people can't see the product, I worded that weird, but maybe it's on a low shelf and not like the eye level shelf, which if you guys don't know, that's way more expensive to have an eye level shelf than a low level shelf in the grocery store. So you could ask questions around that, you know, like where right now is the sparkling water, like how much money is it making for you? Could it be making more money for you? These are all problem-based questions. Now, the problem questions I love, they're my favorite. Well, actually probably needs payoff is my favorite, but anyway, we're gonna go into this a little bit deeper. When you're asking problem questions, the goal is to really dig deep into their problems. You want them to feel the pain, right? You want them to be like, oh my gosh, like this is such a terrible problem for me. I need your help, right? That you want them to feel that. So I think I've mentioned this in another video before, but what you want to do is the metaphor that we like to use is you stick the knife in and you twist it, right? You make it painful. Not literally, obviously, do not actually hurt the human being, but metaphorically, you want them to feel the pain of the problem that they're having in a sales call, right? So after that, you've asked all of your problem questions, which remember, you want to really dig deep into those. You want to move into implication-based questions. And this is when you tie in some of the answers that they said in the problem questions into more implication questions. So for example, let's say that this LaCroix is on a bottom shelf at the grocery store. Well, what I would say an implication would be, so if this is on the lowest shelf of the grocery store, what impact does that have on your sales, right? I'm asking an implication question as what happens when this happens? I could even, you can do leading based questions for implication questions. So I can say, so your LaCroix is on the bottom level of the shelf. Aren't your customers not seeing this as often as they should be, which in turn is bringing less revenue for you? Question. Okay, these are implication-based questions. Questions where you want them to even see the problem even more, right? So you want to bring out issues that maybe they didn't even think of. Or maybe they thought of before, but they're in a sales call, so they're not actually thinking clearly about the problems that they're actually incurring when it's happening, right? Another implication question could be, you know, well, you have a random brand of sparkling water in there, but what happens when you bring in a name brand and put it at eye level? What will your revenues look like then? Okay, are you getting the gist of implication-based questions? I apologize, I did not prepare these. I'm whipping them off my own head right now. So you can Google spin selling and they will have sample questions for you too. So if this is too random for you, feel free to do that. But it's really, really great to start asking implication questions, because even if right now, if you're listening, these are questions where you're like, oh God, like, could I be making more money if I put LaCroix in my store versus this no-name brand? Maybe I could, right? That's what you start thinking. And then when you're done asking all of your implication questions, you want to move into the final step before presenting your product, which is needs payoff. And this is when you want to say, so sir, can you see that bringing in LaCroix could help raise your revenue costs each month? Yes, right? You see the need and the payoff of bringing LaCroix in. Or, sir, can't you see that, or not can't you see necessarily, you could use any words. Do you think that bringing in LaCroix and moving it from the lower shelf to the middle shelf, eye level shelf, would bring you more revenue? Do you think that switching out the no-name brand for LaCroix brand would bring you more revenue, sir? Right? These are needs payoffs questions. There's a transitional question, which I love asking in sales calls, which could be, sir, would you be interested in learning more about how LaCroix can bring you more revenue in your grocery store? So that, when they say yes to that question, this would transition you into actually presenting LaCroix, how much it costs, what shelf space is going to cost, that sort of thing. So I know I zoomed through that and I could talk all day about spin selling, but I wanted to give you an overview of how it works. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to get out a piece of paper, write down the acronym SPIN, like long ways, right? SPIN. And then I want you to actually practice writing down some questions for your sales calls. I do not want you reading these like as a script during your sales calls. That's not going to help anybody. You're going to be too worried about reading the questions rather than actually listening to the prospect. But I think it helps to write them down. So when you are on a sales call, you've written them down before, like you've said them in your head before, you've said them out loud. So you know kind of the type of questions you should be asking and the wording behind it. And, using open-end questions versus closed-end, which means saying like, not like yes or no questions. You want it to be open-ended so that they will speak longer. So I can talk so long about sales, you guys. So we're going to stop there, but I hope that really helped you learning a little bit more about spin selling, how to really convince your client up front that they do indeed have a problem and that they do indeed need LaCroix. And I hope you guys enjoyed that. So one more thing, I do have a free blueprint on how to gain more clients, how to turn your leads into more clients. And if you want to get that, make sure to grab that below. It's going to be in the description below this video. Make sure to grab that. It's very, very helpful. It talks more about email marketing and how to turn them and get them on the phone call to begin with, which is super important. So I hope you guys enjoyed this call. And I look forward to seeing you in my next video.